Ayo.
Hey.
What's going on, y'all? What's going on?
Welcome to the Miller Time Podcast.
The Miller Time Podcast.
People of color redefining success.
Wait a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how we do it. Welcome, y'all. Welcome to the Miller Time Podcast, where we're about people of color redefining success.
Yeah.
For sure. We are so glad to be here. I am Patrick Miller.
And I'm Coco Miller.
And we are
The Millers.
the Millers. And we're happy and we're singing and we're colored.
Oh my God.
Give me a high five.
Yes. Welcome to the Miller Time Podcast, y'all. We're so glad to have y'all back. Every week, every Monday, we're here to drop this content for y'all because we love y'all so much and we hope that y'all blessed by this.
Blessed. They gonna be blessed.
And Coco's gonna keep doing her ASMR.
Blessed.
So we're back again. We've been going on this trend of really talking about what does it mean to be successful and redefining success, if that's something we need, because we don't necessarily need to go by the dominating narrative of society, which says what success or who narrates what success looks like for us, but we can recreate that for ourselves and we can find success. And as we've been doing that, we have been going through our community, through our brace, and we've been looking for people in our community who have redefined success for themselves, but have really embodied some of our success principles that we see, which is brace, spark, purpose, flow. And I'm not going to go in on it. If you haven't listened to the episode on BSPF, what should they do, babe?
Just go all the way to like episodes 1 through 7.
Yeah.
And just start re-listening to them.
Do that, because we ain't going to talk all about it. But I'll give you a little bit of wisdom on it. Brace is all about the people you surround yourself with. Spark is about how you transform your limiting beliefs into empowering beliefs. Purpose is how you identify what you do and why it matters, and not only how it impacts you, but the world around you. And flow is about you tapping into your strength to help you find success in your purpose.
Mm-hmm. And today we're actually going to be focusing and basically prioritizing what does it look like to have success in our brace. And so if you are watching on video, you see that we have two people sitting across the table from us, and you heard them laughing. And we are so happy to be able to introduce two of our friends, Kenny and Taiwo, who are going to teach us about how important we're going to edit that out. How important how important it is to develop a brace in achieving success. And so they already actually have their own brand and their own YouTube channel and various social media accounts. And so before we go further into what you can expect from them, how about we introduce them?
Yes. They are known as the Travel Tech Twins.
Twins.
TTT.
Yeah. Chronicles of TK.
The Chronicles of TK. I'm gonna just wrap it up with TK. Awesome. If you check them out, you can check out their blog on YouTube. You can check them out on Instagram. They've been traveling all over the world. They've been petting elephants, riding giraffes, all kinds of crazy things. But also, they have disrupted the tech industry.
Yeah.
They moved in. They figured out how to get in there. They got all their homies in there, and they're making shifts and movements all the time.
Yeah.
But also, they are amazing women of God, powerful. They are from... originally born in Nigeria.
Yes,
Okay.
ladies, Nigeria.
Originally born in Nigeria, then went to Chocolate City. Is that
Chocolate
right?
City?
DC.
DC.
Oh, that's what it's called?
Yeah, we actually went to New York first, but it's all good.
Oh,
Then Chocolate City.
to the New York, to the York, and then went to Chocolate City, and then to the Bay Area over here to kick it with us. And there's maybe a little secret of where they might be going next. I don't know. I'm gonna let them share that, but we're gonna introduce them. Their name is Taiwo and Kehinde. Is that right?
Almost right. Kehinde.
We edited that out.
Do it again.
Taiwo and Kehinde.
Hey.
Taiwo and Kehinde, welcome to the Militime Podcast.
Thank you for having us. It's Sugar Taiwo.
And I'm here, Kenny.
Yeah, welcome. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday!
Yeah! Excited about Monday. Excited about Mondays.
Yeah.
So, tell us about who you are. That's a broad question.
Sure. I guess some background. You guys already kind of touched on it, but I'm Kehinde. Me and Taiwo are twins, obviously, if you can see us, but if you're only listening. Born and raised in Nigeria. Well, we lived in Nigeria for 6 years. Moved to New York City, then DC, then Philadelphia. Now here in the Bay Area. Been in the Bay for 4 years now. Currently working in sales for LinkedIn. And on my weekends, I work on Chronicles of TK, where Ty and I travel the world. We also talk about tech and our lifestyle.
Wow.
Yeah, I have a similar story. Born in the same place.
Yeah. Same womb.
Well, not the same time, but 20 minutes before Kenny.
Okay.
And
Clock that.
we've moved from the East Coast to the West Coast to join the tech community and travel. And today we're happy to talk about all we've done. Hopefully we can inspire others who look to do the same.
Wow,
Yes.
dope. So if you follow the twins, these sisters on Instagram or YouTube or anything else like that, you would notice that how fly they are. They stay with the drip.
The drip.
And I'm
We're talking about the drip
curious.
today.
I'm curious, where does that swag come from? You've been all over the place. Nigeria, New York, Philadelphia,
Yeah.
Chocolate City, and then the Bay. So where'd the swag come from? Where'd the swag come in?
That's so funny.
Oh, I think we were born with it.
I would say definitely our culture is all about, like, I mean, when we think about like Nigerian weddings and when we go out, you always got to come prepared. Like, I'm talking your outfit, right? We get outfits made for weddings, for baby showers, for whatever it might be. So we're used to like dressing up and like showing out when we come, like, you know, we're in the room.
Nigerians all about like culture, so it's represented in what we wear, the music, the food.
Wow.
So weddings are 3 days long. Like it's just Nigerians are pretty extra. I'm not gonna lie, we take pride in it. But I think the fashion, the sense of fashion comes from that.
Yes, and also living in different places, right?
Yeah.
So you pick up what you see. New York was the first place we lived in, and just like literally being
Home of
open.
fashion.
Yeah, exactly. Being like exposed to that, it's like, okay, I want to try something new, and I like to express how I'm feeling or just how I want others to feel and how I dress. So, and Ty specifically this year.
Oh yeah, this year. Well, at the end of 2019, I actually made a goal. I guess you call it resolution. I gave up fast fashion at the end of 2019, like November, December. So now I'm like in this new 2020. Haven't bought anything yet. Figuring out like how I'm gonna do this because it's for those who don't know. So so fast fashion. I was inspired to do this after reading a book and listening to a sermon by Bridgetown Church in DC. And it was called Blood Money, Fast Fashion of Blood Money. I know, it's very serious. It was very strong, but when I listened to it, I thought about like how growing up we were exposed to, you know, the cheapest clothes because it's what we could afford, but how now that we're adults, we have the like decision to make, the choices that we make. If you think about like the things we're buying, like from Forever 21, H&M, Zara, all these places, it's more costly to make these clothes than for us to even buy them. Like people are dying, people are not even being paid like the minimum wage there because they have to produce so quickly in like really unhealthy conditions. So back in the day we had like I think 4 seasons, right, of fashion. Now we have 52 seasons, so there's something literally new every single week, and people are trying to take it from the runway to like Forever 21 to H&M, and people are hurting, you know, trying to make money out in these, you know, underdeveloped nations, making clothes for us. So that was the first thing that inspired me.
She was telling me to read the book. I'm like, okay, girl. I got some sustainable shoes though.
So it's a slow transition. I'm not gonna throw everything out in my closet, but I have this threadup.com. I have this bag from them to like. It's like a online thrift shop. They're gonna help me resell some of those things, and then I'm just gonna. My plan is the first 3 months of the year to not even like buy anything, like no new clothes and no new shoes, just wear what I have. And then moving forward from then, I'm gonna start like, because those clothes, you know, they're not cheap, they're expensive, you know, they're pretty expensive. Based on like compared to what I used to buy. So it's like, okay, do I really need this? Like I'm only gonna buy things I need when I need it. I don't need to buy clothes every week or for every event, but just being more conscious about what I'm consuming.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's made me more conscious too, like making decisions on what I want to buy and also what I want to eat. Like, what am I putting into my body? Not just on the outside, but on the inside. So those are part of our goals into like 2020 this year.
Wow, that's huge. That's a big movement to decide to just like make that shift, and it all started from the sermon in the book.
Yes, yeah. The sermon is Bridgetown Church, and then the book. My friend recommended it. It's like Poverty and Riches. It's like it's longer, but I just call it Poverty and Riches. I forget who the author is, but yeah, it's here somewhere.
Cool. Yeah, definitely. Well, when you find that, make sure we're gonna share that on the podcast.
Yes,
so our
I will
listeners
share
be able
it.
to listen to that. So you guys have come from Nigeria all across the U.S. What tribe?
We're
Yoruba?
Yoruba.
The best
Yoruba.
tribe.
Whoa!
Whoa!
You're not offending nobody.
Come on.
Yoruba.
No.
Okay.
You're about to we're Yoruba. You can tell in the names too. 'Cause like the Yoruba tribe, all twins are Taiwo and Kehinde. Taiwo means first to come, and Kehinde means second to come.
No way.
So it's either your first name or your middle name.
Yeah, got you. Wow. That's
Wow.
crazy. I mean, I knew.
I had no idea.
I definitely know, like, my mom, so my two little brothers are Nigerian. I believe they're Igbo.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Okay, next time, bro. Next time.
But, like, I know for sure, like, some of the guys that my mom dated, like, one's name was Monday.
What?
Yeah,
Weird.
no,
That's
for
that's
sure.
the Igbo thing.
I met a guy named Sunday at Afro Tech.
Oh, for sure. I know
Were you
I know
Igbo?
Sunday as well.
Girl, I don't know what he
One of my teachers' name was Mr. Sunday. So, yeah, definitely. No, that's interesting. And I was having a conversation with one of our like friends who are Nigerian, and I was like, something. I was like, oh yeah. I was like, oh, you're Igbo. Okay, do you know? And I told him my brother's last names. He's like, oh, that one sounds familiar. I was like, yeah. I was like, I know the older generation of Nigerians. You say a last name, they're like, oh yeah, I know. And then like literally they can be like trace them back to
Yeah,
I know
like
where
you can tell by like when I hear someone's name, I see it. I know that they're either like which tribe they belong to.
Wow.
It's in the names. You know,
That's really cool. I gotta say, like as Black people of America, it is. I'm definitely jealous to be able to like trace back your lineage just by a name. Like we get names and we like
Chelsea.
Well, there's a bunch of tests now, right? Someone came out to me at work the other day on Friday and was like, "Hey, like I'm 50% West African." I was like, "Okay, girl, you go, girl."
Yeah.
So there are things out there for y'all to like figure that out.
Right, yeah, no, definitely. There's technology out there, but just to have that access in my name is like super dope for people to feel like I know exactly where you come from, I know your people. That's really dope.
That's true.
Cool,
That is
cool.
true.
Yeah.
Let's get into it.
Yeah.
So you guys have a YouTube series about breaking into tech.
Yeah.
We were watching it the other day.
Oh.
And I'm curious because at least with millennials and the generation we're in, it's like, how do I get into tech? How do I get to that kind of income level? And the opportunities that are available in tech that maybe are not available in nonprofit land, where at least both of me and Patrick have been in. And so I'm curious, how did you end up in tech? Like, was that the goal? And I don't know if you guys went to college. Like, what has been the route to ending up where you're at LinkedIn?
I can start.
Yeah. Oh, you want to start?
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought you were gonna start. I was gonna let you start because you came first, but
Do you want me to start?
Okay, you
Okay,
can.
I'll start. All right.
We got this.
So I'll take it back to college. In college, I studied finance in undergrad, and I did not love my major. I'm one of those people that like I wanted to switch my major every year, but I was too scared to stay longer than 4 years and not being able to afford it.
Yeah.
So after graduating, I already had my job offer because I interned for an investment management firm. So I got my offer like before senior year started. I accepted it. Yeah, I was a big baller. And it was an investment management firm. Knowing at the back of my mind that's not something I really wanted to do, but I'm like, hey, I got an opportunity.
Right.
I also want to take note that at that time in Philly at Temple University, I was only exposed to finance and accounting and marketing. I knew nothing about tech. The tech companies didn't come to my school to say, hey, like, come work for us. So, again, out of the options that I had, I chose one that, gave me the offer.
Okay.
From there, the first 3 months, I didn't pass the test. And, you have to pass the test to continue working there. So I was out of a job. And at that time, I still didn't know what I want to do. But I knew that I wanted to do something I was passionate about. Something I would love. Something I could bring my true self to work. And people say that all the time. But, I mean, I could come to work in what I'm wearing right now. Say the jokes that we're saying around this table right now. And still feel comfortable and not feel judged. And I saw this job at LinkedIn. Y'all, I thought I had to like be an engineer, like no coding to work at a company like LinkedIn. So when I applied, it was like 2 seconds. I thought they're never gonna get back to me. I didn't even have my updated resume. I only like did the profile, which is called Easy Apply, where your whole profile goes into your application.
Gotcha.
So I said, okay, cool. They're not gonna get back to me. Literally a few days later, a recruiter reached out.
Wow.
And it was like, hey, we're gonna interview you. And I had 3 people that day back to back on the phone.
Wow.
I was like, they set me up, but all right, I'm gonna give it my best. Long story short, they invited me to Chicago for the on-site, and it was the best interview experience I had. I remember telling Ty, like, even if I don't get this job, I felt at home, like I felt welcomed, and I hope it works out.
Wow. What were some of the things that made you feel at home and welcome? Because I know definitely going through the interview process, depending on the company, it can be really like stressful.
Yeah.
You can be like, yo, y'all not talking to me. I feel like inhuman. And then it can be sometimes you be like, yo, this is dope. So I want to know, like, what were like some of the traits that made it a at home experience for you?
Yeah. Excuse me. So I would say LinkedIn does a lot for like the interview process, like crafting who would interview you and what you do that day. We had a whole tour of like Skydeck in Chicago.
Wow.
I had like an amazing hotel. So even before stepping foot into the building, I was like, what is this experience? Oh my goodness.
Wow.
And then taking it back to the interviewers, they were amazing people I could connect with. I remember there was this black man I interviewed with, and he was just like so real with me, like telling me about his background, and I was like, is this allowed? Like, can you be this real? And he's like a senior leader now, and I'm just like, wow, like I like this. I want to be here. And then I remember like a few people from the program I was applying to came and spoke with us. And I was just like, yo, like, God, this is it. This gotta be it.
Wow.
So they just left a lasting impression on me. And also at that time, I only had like maybe 1 or 2 other companies to compare it to. But I mean, I still feel good today. So
Yeah, no, that's
So
awesome.
when you applied, you originally applied for sales?
yeah, it was a sales program. So it was a rotational program where I went through a couple of months in recruiting, a couple of months in global operations, and then I landed in a role called sales development. So from there, I became an account executive, and from there, I'm now a regional associate or a regional account manager.
What does that mean?
Yeah. What
Yeah.
you do?
What you do?
What's the
A
region?
lot of
What
words.
region?
A lot of words.
What region are
It
you
means she's
over?
moving on up.
So I went from a sales development role. I'll be honest, it's like the bottom of the bottom, right? When you start in sales, right?
Okay.
You're the ones picking up the phone, and you hope they want to buy, so you can pass them off to someone.
Just like, and how much is that? Is
That pay?
And was that in California or was that still out in Chicago?
So that was here. So initially, for the program, everyone had to start in San Francisco. Today,
Gotcha.
they have people starting in Chicago and San Francisco.
Okay, so San Francisco's the start off for everybody.
Everybody. So I had to move here, and I never visited. Like, I didn't know anything about San Francisco. I thought it was like LA.
Yeah.
So I didn't even have the right type of clothes. I thought it was warm. They lied to me.
You got up here, it was freezing your butt off.
Cold. So in that role, I was in an inbound team, meaning
Okay.
like I'm on the phones. I'm making $60 a day, but I still loved it. That was actually one of my favorite jobs.
Gotcha.
Wow.
I mean, it's not the most glamorous, but I built so many strong, solid relationships in that role that I would do it again if I had to.
Wow.
So you said how much does that role make?
Yeah, well, how much was the salary for that?
So even though that's like the lower role, you still have a quota, meaning a percentage of it is still commission. I believe then it was like 30% of it. So I would say a mixture of like 80 to like 95K. So if you're exceeding quota, like I one time made like 97K in that role. So.
Wow. In
So-
the bottom.
So the bottom
role.
of the bottom.
Yeah.
Because it's sales, you know? It's
It's
like
sales,
a revenue
like-
generating department. Like,
Yeah. I mean, it's what makes the business money. I mean,
Right.
like, at the end of the day, it's like the engineers design it, but like somebody's got to sell what they
Exactly.
design. Yeah, for sure.
Right.
Wow.
But still,
Right. That's
Like-
like how much some people make at the top of their nonprofit.
exactly.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
or even just some, like, not even just nonprofit, like any other like type of industry outside of tech.
Yeah.
Like most people would
That's
probably
true.
making like the bottom of the bottom would be like 50,000 or something like
Yeah,
that.
that's true. That's
50,
what my
55.
first role out of
Yeah.
college was, 50, 60. And all of my accounting and finance friends, they all made the same thing. In Philly,
Wow.
even in New York. So
Wow,
I thought that was normal.
That's got to be, and then all of a sudden you're the bottom of the bottom job. They're saying, yeah, here's 80 or 90 to get you started out. How did that feel? Did that make you feel some type of way about yourself, or like did it shift even your mindset of what the value of money was, like going from 50 to 80?
I think for me, the first thing I thought was, oh my gosh, I could travel now. So growing up, like I always put travel on the back burner. Like, okay, when I have the money, I can do it. So I was like, oh my gosh, I could travel now. I can afford more.
Okay.
But I will say, since then, my mindset have shifted. Like, ever since I started at that amount. I was like, I need to make more. Like, this is not enough for me to live in the Bay Area. Like, so I kept thinking more and more and more. And that's the mindset of sales.
Yeah.
You want to keep making more. You want to keep working harder. You want to stay a little longer.
And when do you stop?
You don't. That's why you gotta. My friend used to say, "We're on a hamster wheel."
Yeah, you just
keep going.
Yeah.
And if you don't hop off of it, you will keep going. And I wouldn't say it's a bad thing. For some people, like, that's the lifestyle they want, and for others, it's not. So you gotta decide.
Wow.
What you want.
Gotcha.
So you said you were at sales, but now you're regional associate account manager.
Right. Same thing. So from the SD role, and I'll let Taiwo tell her story in a second because I don't want to get too much into the sales role. You want to tell your story right now?
No, go ahead.
Okay, so after the SD, I moved into account executive, which is like a normal transition for someone. And account executive means you're no longer at the bottom hoping someone, like, now you have your own book of business.
Gotcha.
You're doing the call-in, you're having the conversation, you're closing
So they're
deals.
giving you accounts to manage, and these are the accounts that you're managing and closing deals with.
An account executive. And in that role, you can make anywhere from, like, I don't know, I would say like a one makes like, and there's different levels.
So there's, one is the bottom of account executive.
Right, the first level. And I would say you can make anywhere from 100K to maybe like 115 to 120.
It's actually really, like, it's not capped though.
It's
like we
uncapped.
had ones making like 3K, 300K. If
you
you're like
exceed-
really, really good at your job, then
You said
exceed
there's
what-
no cap. You said, you can start off at 100.
It's
so weird.
115
Sales,
to
you know?
300K.
Yo, I didn't even know, like, when I was applying to an apartment, I didn't even know what to put when they asked me, like, my income, because I was like, okay, I know what my offer says, but if I did 122% last quarter and I made way more, I made like 20 additional K. So it's like, it's hard. It's unpredictable.
Oh, to put on your taxes, you don't really know what to put because
When I applied to an apartment, they asked my income to see if I can,
Got you.
if I make enough. And I was like, can I put a range? We don't know sometimes, like, what's coming in until that quarter ends.
That's wild.
That is just that is crazy money. That is like, I mean, there's such an income gap from Silicon Valley to where the rest of the Bay Area is.
That is very true.
Yeah.
That's true. I can kind of go into my story.
Yeah.
So I actually studied public health. So I thought I was going to go to nonprofit when I graduated.
Really?
And I was looking for jobs when I graduated. And I was like, I cannot make 30K. I can't do this. So I decided.
Was it the same time when the Kenny had already started?
Yeah, she already had an offer, and I knew she was
LinkedIn or
no, at the investment management.
Okay,
firm.
so she got the 50 offer, and
Yeah, and I'm like,
you got the 30.
Public
offer.
health, no 30K. I gotta pay my loans back. God help me. So I decided I'm not gonna do public health right now. If I want to do it, I can always go back. And the crazy thing is, in college, I was known as like that public health advocate. I always had a public health internship.
Yeah.
People just knew I was gonna get my MPH, but I didn't. I decided to take a job at the same investment firm.
Wow.
And it was a good learning experience for a year. So I stayed there for a year. Kenny was
I already moved
here.
after 4 months.
So I did it for a year, but, it was a little bit more. I think maybe 40K. But I was just like, I can't do this. I used to, like, make this joke with my friends saying, like, Jesus did die on the cross for me to do this job. He did not die for me to do this. So Kenny invited me to leave my full-time job because I didn't love it, to move to San Francisco for a contract position at LinkedIn.
She was like, what?
And at first I was like, contract, no benefits? No! Like, I have all that now. But then, I had to weigh the pros and cons. And I was just like, you know what? Contract there is better than full-time here. Let's go.
Amen.
Pack the bags.
Wow.
My mom, my brother, and my sisters helped me move, like, everything back to DC. And I just, like, came with, like, 2 bags. So I stayed with Kenny for a little bit. And I took this contract position at LinkedIn for 10 months. And then after 10 months, I actually moved to a full-time position in sales.
Thank you.
So the SDR role, I was on a different team from Kenny, but then we ended up on the same team later. And then after that, I moved into account executive. So kind of like the same trajectory
Same path.
in sales. So like the same amount, the same all of that, depending on how you're doing. But like you said, there is that income gap. And I remember in college, like my main goal and focus was like, I want to change the world. That's why I went to study public health. I did biology first, but Lord knew I was going to be no doctor. And my mom said I could change my major, so I was happy. Thank God. So
Hold on, I gotta stop there. Because I know, I've heard it too many times.
yes, it's true.
Nigerian mamas.
They be like, either you're gonna be a doctor, engineer, or lawyer, because that's all they knew. Like, if you think about their time, those are safe jobs. You're always gonna have a job in those industries.
People are always gonna be sick, always gonna be hurt.
Right.
You always can be a
You
doctor.
don't need to
People always gonna have
supervise.
legal problems. You can
Exactly.
always right.
Exactly.
They're gonna need to build something. Be an engineer. Sure. Yeah.
Wow.
If I went back, I would have probably did something in design or like something creative because I always had this creative side I never got to tap into because I was just thinking like, okay, I need a secure job. Who would have thought today you could probably use those creative skills to have your own business?
Sure.
But that's besides
My
the point.
friend, and I think one thing I want to point out from your story, Ty, is that you can major in whatever you want. And I wish that's one thing I would say to someone.
Yeah.
Because I had a friend, I'm not going to say their name, who went to an Ivy League majoring in like basket weaving or something. I was like, What?
Yeah, you can make
that?
your own majors of some of those.
Yeah, so
skills.
you can create your own major, but it's like they majored in something they actually loved. I wish I wasn't struggling every day in my finance class,
Yeah.
So they majored in basket weaving, and how are they doing now? Like
Doing
as
good.
far as-
I'm like
Oh,
political
wow.
science or something. I'm like,
See, it probably don't even
Oh.
matter because you went to an Ivy League school, and
Exactly.
they're
All
like,
the
yeah,
connect
you
his
got
name.
it.
They're like, oh.
So that I think that's interesting because I think maybe there's a misconception about getting into tech that maybe there's a degree that you need to come in or experience that you need to have. So was that you guys experience?
Well, the thing is, if you're going into more of the technical side, so we're more on like the people side where we're talking to customers. It's more client facing. If you want to be an engineer, they're probably going to require, a BS in computer science or something like that. But there are a lot of companies, LinkedIn being one, I think Facebook being one, that's created these programs where people with non-traditional backgrounds can come in. So LinkedIn has a program called Reach where, maybe you didn't study computer science, right? But you took a course at, some nonprofit and you know how to code. And they're going to let you come in through this program. You're going to be a full-time engineer. Once the program is over, there's full-time opportunities for you.
Wow.
Facebook has one for UX. So maybe you didn't study computer, human computation, whatever, right? But you decide after your sales career, I actually want to be a UX researcher or UX designer.
UX is
user experience.
right?
So there's actually a program called the UX Program Associate where they let you come in for 7 months. And then, you're learning, and you have these mentors, and then when you're done, you come in full-time. And when you're done, there's a position for you at the company.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of companies doing that now. So, that there is that misconception that I have to go to Ivy League or I have to major in this. But they are a lot of companies that's looking at folks from non-traditional backgrounds or that didn't go to Ivy League school.
Yeah. And it's really interesting because I've even seen that some research has shown that a lot of people of color, especially Black folk, have been moving through the non-traditional roles, the human side, the human side of tech, to kind of get their foot into tech, because a lot of times you'll see kind of one demographic that's going into the engineering side or things
that
like
is
that.
true.
But you'll see a lot of people of color moving in through the human
Sales
side.
and recruiting.
Right.
That is true. And I've always had a desire to be on the other side, but I never went after it. But that's my goal now.
Gotcha.
We can talk about that later off camera.
Yeah.
But that's my goal now, to move more into that side of it.
Gotcha.
Interesting.
Okay.
One thing I would add to that, no matter what school you go to or even the grades, you just have to know your craft, know your work, especially with engineering. I used to recruit for the role in one of my rotations, and I would see the brightest of the brightest coming through the door, but they didn't know how to code, or their code was messed up, and literally there's a committee that reviews everything. So you just want to make sure you know your stuff coming in, not thinking, hey, I'm just going to get in because of the name.
Just because I went to a great school. Got you.
So what if you don't want to be on that side? Maybe you have worked sales, but you want to get into more of the tech side, of making that kind of money. How does someone transition and get a foot in the door in a company like LinkedIn?
To a technical role, like an engineering role?
Yeah. No. Like a sales kind of role.
The people side
side
of tech.
So let's say you're working at another company, a nonprofit, or anywhere that you want to get into sales.
Yeah.
Or what are
some
the I guess
ideas.
what are the human side? 'Cause we got
Yeah.
tech, you got the engineering, right? And you have the people who manage the engineers, right? Which kind of can be more people-ish because you got to learn how to coach people. Or is that still really heavy into the engineering side?
Yeah, an engineering manager, I would say, is definitely still on the engineering side. But as far as people side, so there's sales, there's recruiting, which is heavy in tech. There's marketing. Honestly, there's the same departments everybody else
I was
has.
gonna break it down from you have all tech companies have a product they're selling, right? So you have a product. So there's people that build the product, people that make sure the product is branded, marketed well. So product marketing.
Right.
There's people that's selling the product, so sales. There's people that's recruiting people to be at your company, so recruiting. So those are the major ones.
Gotcha.
Design would fall under the technical side too. But then you also have like those other roles like program management, project management, coordinators, events, because these companies are all about like, you want your people to feel good at your company and stay a year or two. So yeah, those are like the main things, but don't forget like they also have a lot of the same departments that you pop, like finance. There's HR, which is down from talent acquisition, accounting.
Wow. But to answer the actual question, I think of two different ways. One, you have to know people, right?
That's what I was trying to get to.
Like, applying to jobs. I mean, I've heard people say they applied to jobs and got the job, which is great. I mean, that happened to me, right? But also, I think something Jeff Lena talks about now is, like, just your community and your community's community. So, like, you might not know someone who works at HBO, which you want to work there, but you might know someone who knows someone who works there. One, it's knowing people, telling people what you want to do. Like, if I know you and I'm in your network, I should know what you're passionate about. Like, you should have brought it up at least one time during conversation. So when my network tells me I'm looking for someone, I can recommend you. Like, I can.
I think it's amazing that you're saying that, because I think a lot of times, especially nowadays, you'll have people who are, I know you, and we hang out and we talk and we joke and different things like that. But do we actually know what we're passionate about? And not just the work that you do. Like, sure, that's what you do today, and but like, is that really what you're passionate about? And do our friends know that? Does our network actually know what we're talking about? I think that's huge for like the next step for where you want to be, right?
And also how you position yourself. Sorry, that was the second thing I wanted to say. Like, you have to be able to say, hey, I worked as a cashier for 10 years, but that's not all you had. Like, you had so much experience. You were working with people, right? All day long. You worked crazy hours, right? That's all sales, right? So how do you position yourself from saying, hey, I did this job, but this actually translates, right? Because I've gained transferable skills that help me prepare for the next job.
Right. Yeah.
And that might take some coaching
And I was going to speak to your point that you made earlier, Pat, that I don't think we're having, like, there's not enough spaces where we're having conversations like this, unless it's for a podcast or there's a talk going on downtown because some celebrity is in town, or someone that's like, one of these engineering managers is talking at this tech company, let's all go. I don't think we sit around and talk about like what we want to do and like where we want to go, our vision and our dreams and what we're doing to make that happen. And I think that's the problem, because I have friends and I'm thinking, okay, I know what they're passionate about because, it's what they're doing right now, but there are people that aren't, in jobs that are their passions.
Right. Yeah. And so how do you know? How do we as friends, as brothers, as sisters, how do we know, and how do we assist our people in getting to that next step if we don't know not just where you are right now, but where do you want to be? But that, you're right. It takes intentional conversation.
Exactly.
And I think we've moved away from one of our other podcasts. We talked about this, is that people have been socialized to not be that way, to not share things. We only talk about what's going on right now, not talking about hopes and dreams, because there's fear of disappointment in that. Yeah. There's the fear maybe I won't make it, or maybe you'll look down on me for thinking about my dream, or you'll think I'm not worthy, so I actually don't want to share that. And so we've been socialized not to share those things, but only share all the amazing things we're doing right now. Right. Even though those amazing things aren't necessarily speaking to where I want to be.
Well, I think there's also comparison too. So if I'm over here and I'm saying, okay, well, this is my dream and I want to be able to have access to this kind of resources or whatever, but then I see people who are like yourselves that are like, oh, I'm able to have access to this kind of community, which gives me the resources to be able to do more of whatever you consider your dreams and passions to be. That can often feel like if I didn't know you guys and I see you on social media, I can have an idea wow, I can never have that kind of life. They have access to something that I could never have based on what it looks like and based on what it looks like you've achieved. And so I think that social media does a great job with bringing that disconnect in with okay, well, how did this person, I see these ads all the time, make $1 million in creating a course based on your expertise, like an online course.
Make tons of money sitting on the couch.
Right. And then be able to, be in Thailand and work with your clients and all these things. But it's often but how did you actually get there? I think the how-to process of how someone actually got to success is often the blurred lines. And it's just look at me and my success and I'm living my best life and my dreams. But we don't have the conversations but tell me how you actually got there. Empower me in the skills and the keys and the tools that I need to actually get to that next level. So I think that with you guys' series that you've been doing on breaking into tech, I think it's powerful because it can often feel like, oh, I have access to this like privileged community. Like tech is like where everybody wants to be, and I'm gonna keep that a secret of how I got there. And with now, you kind of mentioned about the travel piece, like how travel has always been super important to you both, and being able to have that not just be something like, oh, I'll put that on the back burner, but it's actually a priority. I'm interested in you guys talking more about what does travel mean to you? Why do you travel? Like, how does that fit into like you guys living what success means to you?
Okay. Before we touch on that, I just want to say one more thing to the last comment, because we're on a social media break right now, but we'll be back soon. But yeah, the internet and just social media platforms has like this like way of just not really aligning people with their true story, and people don't often share those true stories. So for example, this girl like messaged me and was like, oh my gosh, I wish I was living your life. And I said, oh my gosh, I wish I was living my Instagram life too. And I laughed because I told her, like, you're seeing the glory, you're seeing the victory, but you didn't see the mountain I climbed. Like, you didn't see the struggles, you didn't see the trials. Like, no one is going to be on the floor crying and take a picture and be like, oh my gosh, today sucked, right?
Right.
You're going to wipe off the
Nobody's
tears.
on Instagram during that time when they're feeling depressed and they're feeling like, I hate the choice I made. Yeah.
And a friend even said, like, he doesn't even post a lot of his trips and stuff because he doesn't want people to envy him. And that's a whole nother conversation for me. But I like taking a step back and just not sharing everything and really just focusing on me, my growth, my development, and then tapping back in. But we can move on to travel. So what does travel mean to us? Do you want to start or should I?
Yeah, so over the course of, like Kenny mentioned, growing up, we didn't travel. I mean, I just didn't have any money. I was trying to pay for college. But over the course of 3 years, we've traveled to 15 different countries.
Wow.
And during that time, we've gotten to interact with people with different skill sets, of different backgrounds, ethnicities, religion, sexual orientation, age, perspectives. And because we've gotten to meet so many people and just see like different things, it's shaped me personally into like this learner, right? I know what I like. I know what I'm passionate about. I'm passionate about community. I'm passionate about people. And I think before I just went to travel because I never got a chance to. But now that I've seen like more than the United States, more than, here, it gives me a different perspective. Like there's just so much more to life. I don't need to beat myself up over small things. Like there's just, traveling gives me like this perspective. It's made me this woman of like, I don't know, it's so hard to explain. It's just like like my perspective is just so different now because I've seen the world. Not all of it yet, but I think differently. It's kind of like if you grow up in a small town with your friend, and your friend goes to college and comes back, they're so different because they've seen college. Right. But you stayed in your town the entire time. So maybe you don't even, your relationship with that person is different, or like they provide a different perspective for you.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's how I see traveling.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, same thing, right? We didn't grow up traveling. And our goal with travel was not, hey, let's go to Thailand and let's go to Bali. We haven't been to Bali yet. Let's go to Mexico and then let's just show the world that like we're the bomb. And I think that's how it comes off sometimes online when people travel. But that's why we started traveling and trying to really record vlogs and teaching you, hey, this is where I got my flight for the Lolo, right? This is how you should be looking. These are days you should be looking at travel flights. These are the seasons you should be traveling to Greece versus going to, I don't know, Italy. But it's a little hard with lack of resources. And sometimes we just want to have fun and we don't have the tools to be recording every single aspect of the trip. Right. But that was the goal and mindset we had, was like, okay, let's let other people travel.
That's dope. So it's almost like you were like, hey, this is something we didn't really have access to as young people. And like now that we have access to this, we almost want to open the door and give people the opportunity to do this as well. Like if they want to travel and they want to see the world, we want to record, and obviously you still want to have fun and not have a camera on you all day.
Turkey. We didn't record at all.
We didn't record any in Turkey. It was so sad because people were asking us. I'm like, bruh,
we did not record no video.
And when I ask people too, like, why don't you travel? Because people say, oh, I want to travel. I'm like, you can travel just like we did. We picked up, our phones and laptops and did research. And that's another story because I have like 5-page research we do, and then like a day-to-day schedule. My friends laugh at me. We have like an itinerary by hour of our trips. They're like, oh, y'all crazy. But when I ask people why they don't travel, a few things come to mind. One, they don't want to do the research. Like, they're lazy. They don't want to look into it. They want someone to plan it, and they want to show up when it's time to leave. Or two, they think they can't afford it. And I have colleagues who like, I paid $1,000 for this flight. Oh my gosh, it was so cheap. I'm like, I've never paid more than like $350 for a round trip. Like, what you mean you paid $1,000? So there are ways to travel on a budget. You don't have to like be this rich person and go out of your own means to travel and come back broke and can't pay rent. Like, we don't want that to happen.
That is not the goal. It's not about how much you make, but how much you save. So like, even people, I always listen to Dave Ramsey, and even people that make like $50K a year are traveling and like paying off their homes, and I'm just that needs to be me. So it's really like what, you're a conscious consumer of like, even your flights, right? And like what you're spending your money on, your clothes. So maybe you're not gonna go out to your friend's birthday this week, or maybe you're not gonna, I don't know, whatever else you do for fun. It's really about how much you put aside. If you really want to do it, you can.
And that's the difference between that's the difference between wealth and rich. It's like the difference between wealth and rich is that when I'm rich, I gain. Like, I get a lot. So I make a lot of money. Yeah, I make a lot of money, but also I can spend a lot of money. And I think Kanye, when back in like maybe 2017, he like was broke. Like, he was broke, but he's still rich. He still has a fat house. He still has a big nice car. He still got all the clothes and all the stuff, and he can still put out a new shoe and still be broke. Like, how is that even possible? It's because what he gains is so much, but he's not wealthy because he doesn't save anything. And so the difference, like, we could make, you can make $30,000 a year, but if you save 50% of that, 60% of that, and you're way wealthier than a millionaire who makes all that money and still spends it all at the end of the day. So it's like,
that's good.
Really finding that way, the difference between like, oh, I'm rich, I get a lot of money, but more like, even if I only have 50,000, how can I be wealthy with this and actually like save it? I like
that feels so inaccessible in the Bay Area. Like, when people are living paycheck to paycheck just to even pay rent on a $50,000 income, and then it's like, how do I even have money to save? Or how do I have money to live my best life when I can barely pay rent? And then when it comes to like, okay, so how do I move up? Like, how do I get to this place of actually progressing so that I can now have a trip or have these things? Like, a lot of the conversations that we have with people is like, okay, traveling feels like a luxury that maybe we have 10 years from now, 20 years from now. It doesn't feel real. And even like for us, living on one income in the Bay Area while I'm a full-time grad student, it's like, oh yeah, we not traveling till like we got income coming in. Like, it feels almost impossible. But what I think when we took our 1-year anniversary trip to Costa Rica, there was like some kind of way where we were able to like get, and New York, we were able to get like our trip completely for free because we used miles from our credit card.
Katie's a fan of miles.
Oh, I love miles. Which cars you got?
American Airlines.
Only one card.
American, only
so
one.
You only do American Airlines. Okay.
But sis, I'm open to all cars. I'm not loyal to nobody.
Okay. You should really think about Chase Reserve.
Oh yes, that's my next one.
Sapphire?
No, Chase Sapphire Reserve, not the preferred.
Well, both. You can
get both an upgrade eventually.
You can do both, and you can upgrade, but you gotta have it for like a year or 2 years or something.
Yeah, but the Reserve gives you like $300 of just free money.
You also be mindful, and this is also for like the listeners. I know y'all can't see me because my wife hair is in there. But like for the listeners, I think a lot of times people would take on these cards because they're like, oh, travel benefits, but make sure you use the one that you can actually afford.
Right.
Because sometimes they have annual fees to it. And so if you're actually already spending that much money, then go ahead and get that card because it's helpful. But if you're like, oh, I just want points and, I don't really have the budget to spend that much money, but I want to make it, don't do it because it ends up just becoming more of a burden.
Exactly. Tell them about it. Tell them.
But the preferred, is it the Reserve or the preferred?
The Reserve gives the $300.
The Reserve, is real nice. They give you the $300 travel credit every year. You get access into all the like
lounges.
Yeah, I heard y'all. I'm telling you, next on my list.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I never knew. And I walked in that room.
Lounge?
I'm like, this room. I be wondering where all these people be coming from.
When it's
they
time.
When it's
Showed
time.
up.
I'm sitting here at my chair waiting. I gotta spend all this money to get food just to eat. And then like refill on water or whatever. And I'm sitting out here and all of a sudden they start calling names and people start coming out of nowhere. Like, where was y'all? Is everybody just late? People are always late. I'm really like, these cats is in these rooms chilling, eating free nuts and sandwiches and pasta and trail mix and all types of soda and cookies.
Wine.
I'm like, what is going on? Is this what? Let me not know that every space I've been going into, y'all got a luxury room somewhere. I'm in there.
Yep.
We know now.
Yeah, no, we for sure now.
What? Because you said you've never paid more than $350 round trip.
That's crazy.
How you do that?
Where did you do that at?
Tell us.
One thing I do want to mention, because you were talking about living in the Bay, even living on one income, and some people not being able to save. That's huge. And I mean, that kind of goes back to homelessness in the Bay Area, how it's increasing because anybody could be homeless. I could be homeless. I could be making a paycheck today and nothing tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's how easy it is. But I did want to say, like, this year, our theme is living below our means.
Yeah.
And some people don't
I like how y'all got that down and y'all just say it together.
because like it takes humility too to say like, okay, I can afford this, but I'm not gonna buy it. I'm not gonna pay for it. Even like right now we're downsizing. Like we told you, we're moving.
Yeah.
We went to a smaller space because you've been to our apartment. We have a ton of space that we don't use. 2 bedroom, 2 bath, and we're paying like a mortgage, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So I think definitely taking a step back and seeing what you can cut out.
Yeah.
And everybody's situation is gonna be different. But that's all I wanted to say for that.
No, that's huge. Thank you for saying that because I think a lot of times let's just talk about the Bay Area, for example, homelessness in the Bay Area. And I'm not saying that everybody's situation is like this, but sometimes we will suffer so that we can stay in a place that's comfortable.
Come on.
We'll suffer because I grew up here, this is my town, and I get it. Like, I hate the fact that like what's happening in Oakland, and it started way longer before in San Francisco.
Yeah.
And so I hate that what's happening, but at the same time, like now I have to make a decision. Am I going to stick it out and fight here for the sake of still staying in this city? Or am I going to go where it's going to actually like be beneficial for me, where I can actually survive?
We gotta use wisdom.
One of my senior managers is like really rich, y'all. He's really rich, and he lives in San Ramon, making a commute to SF.
Nice.
At a
San
huge house. He just
Ramon.
redid his whole backyard. I hope he doesn't listen because he's gonna be like, he's telling people I'm rich. He's rich, and he just knows how to save.
Does he got old money, or where's that money come from?
Girl.
That's a new money. That's a
He got some
mix.
money from the South. He got some money from slavery or what? I'm just playing. But you gotta ask though. You gotta ask.
Your plantation.
He definitely knows this.
But I said that to say like he doesn't live in a city. He can afford it. He
Right,
used to live
yeah,
in a
no,
city.
sure.
Wow.
You know, he's just making smart choices. I would say like even for us, like if it's gonna go from what do we pay for rent, like $3,400 a month, like if it's gonna go from that to paying $2,500, sign me up. You know, like whatever I can save. So it's about one, humbling yourself, taking a step back, and just being real about where you are, what your situation is, and where you're trying to get to.
Yeah,
definitely.
I love that.
But what was
But to answer your question about how do you find cheap tickets?
Yeah, that's it. I'm about to take notes.
Well, I would say when we first started planning in advance, like we would. At the beginning of the year, we would be like, sit down, like, where do we want to go? What's cheap? One website that we typically use is Norwegian because, you know, they fly out of Oakland and that's close to
And
Oakland
Google
Airport.
Norwegian low fare calendar.
Yes, Norwegian low fare calendar. A friend actually told us about it. When you go on there, you can put the place that you want to go to, and then they'll show you how much it is. It's typically low, and then which month you can just buy the ticket.
Right, so you have to plan ahead. So, for example, we went like to Barcelona for $150. That wasn't round trip because we wanted to take megabus to Paris, and then we went to London. So like we plan it out and maintain like the budget.
Yeah,
but planning
out ahead, but also knowing your sites. So Norwegian is one that we typically use for like Europe. I think they go to the Middle East too, and then we also use what's that one that has the deals? Flight deal. So I sign up. I'm subscribed to them. Every day I get deals, and they'll tell you where it's leaving from. So I'll just go down to wherever it says like San Francisco or Oakland and see what it is, and it gives you the date. There you go, to buy your trip, and it tells you how to buy it. Yeah, literally every day there's something new.
And because this is an important part of traveling. Do you have like 24-hour layovers where you got to be like?
We don't do that so long.
That's crazy.
Well, what we like to do is we get bored after 2 to 3 days in one location. So if we find a good ticket for like, let's say, Where do we want to go? Barbados.
Okay.
We want to go to every island next to Barbados. Okay,
We want to
so
go to St. Lucia.
We want to go to Martinique. Whatever is near there, we want to go there because I'm not spending $250 one way just to see one place, but I can take a boat. It's probably like $50 to the next, another boat to the next, and just leave from whichever one's the last place. So it's
That'd
like
be
we
interesting.
always put that into perspective.
And Hopper. A lot of people use Hopper to like
Hopper, I've
set
heard of
the
Hopper.
dates, and then like you'll get alerts.
Yeah. Wow, that's really good. Yeah, because the Hopper, you can set the date and they'll just keep telling you, hey, here's a price
It's
for
going
this.
down.
It's going down. It's
Gotcha.
the lowest it's been.
Do you guys ever do cruises?
No,
That's so funny. I haven't, but someone at church was actually Miss Kathy. She was talking about cruises. I was like, okay, y'all, I get seasick. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna need some Dramamine. I'm gonna need something.
Yeah.
I get dizzy whenever I'm. Yeah.
So I haven't done a cruise. I've been on boats, but not like a cruise. And I hear the bigger the cruise, like you don't even feel it
like it's
anymore because
moving.
it's just like a building. It's like
But
a
I
giant
would feel
building.
trapped because what I like to like my vacations are so that I can explore.
Yeah, if y'all like
places,
moving around and exploring
you know,
new
I'd be
places,
like, I gotta stay on this boat for 2 more days.
you better explore that boat. You better be on a different
Alright,
floor
let's
every
check
day. Right.
Yeah.
But they have
yeah.
food time. They have like.
I know. I wouldn't
That's what I
mind doing it.
hear.
I just gotta prepare myself. Okay, this is a cruise. This is
Right.
not a vacation. For
Yeah,
us.
sure. So like that's what like for me, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna be turning 30 soon. I want to do something, and
Yeah.
though at the same time, I recognize that there is this stigma around turning 30 that you got to do something. It's your 30th birthday.
That's
Like,
everywhere.
That's
That's
every year.
everywhere.
What you
Yeah,
doing? 25.
Yeah, you
Every
gotta do
birthday.
that, right? So like, I know that there's like this thought around you're turning 30, do something big, but I do kind of want to travel. And I've never been on a cruise, so I was looking at like the Disney cruise. Which,
How much are those? If you don't mind me asking.
Oh.
It's all inclusive, right?
Like 1,000 or more.
it's
It's
like
It's like
probably
food
3 to
day.
4,000.
Because they're paying for food every day.
They're paying for
3 meals.
your
Where
food,
you're staying.
3 meals, but you can eat as much as you want. Now,
Are you really gonna eat that much?
No, I might.
We never do all inclusive.
I might. See, but so you get the cruise. So this is the thing with the Disney cruises. Disney cruises, like you get the food, you get all the entertainment, all the shows, all the
yeah,
stuff.
that's true.
You get to like
Yeah.
There's like so much
Everything's
going
paid for.
on,
Yeah.
and then they also are flying. They're like not flying. They're like cruising to these islands. They own
Right.
their own private island in the Bahamas that they drop you off at, and you get to hang out on the beach there. And so like
That's
But
not
then
to
you
be
still
free.
got to pay for your airfare to get to the port where it departs.
no, yeah. So it's definitely expensive, and
It's
so
a lot.
I'm already battling like, is that what I want to do? But I got some people that work in the airport already.
I know you better use your connections. Right?
Yeah,
Brace.
I'm about to brace myself.
you
brace
know, right?
myself to this cruise. But yeah, no, I was just thinking about that because I know it's like there's so much to do. You can obviously do Disney, which Disney's gonna be the top level cost that you're gonna pay because they own everything, or you can like do something different where you can
Carnival?
like we went to Carnival. I mean, I hear different things. They say that's an older crowd.
I don't know.
cruise.
I've never gotten on these
never
No,
done.
cruises.
Carnival's younger. Princess and Alaska.
Princess.
Those are the older crowd.
Okay.
Anyways.
To me, I feel like I'll
We
be
ain't
on it thinking
discriminating.
about a flight. Like, oh my gosh, when are we gonna get there?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys use Hopper, what was the other ones?
Norwegian, low fare calendar,
Okay.
flight deal.
I do. And I also go Google Flights. So what I do is, Google Flights in green,
Sure.
it will show you the price when you put
Yeah.
the date. So I just keep going next month. I think the key here is to plan ahead. The only reason we plan ahead is because our first international trip from here was Cuba. And it was like around the time where like, at first we couldn't go to Cuba. And then
Right,
like, okay,
yeah,
now we
it's a
can
big
go.
deal. Yeah.
So we planned it out to the T, and that set the tone for every trip afterwards.
Wow.
Yeah.
We're like, okay, we're going to plan early. We're going to print out our agenda.
Yeah.
We're going to
Yeah.
do this.
Yeah.
I love
Cuba.
agendas.
I definitely want to go to Cuba. All right, if I can go anywhere in the world right
Really?
now,
Oh,
it'd be to
Lord.
Cuba. I definitely want to go to Cuba.
We had a good time.
Ooh, I
The
loved
food was
it.
good.
People say the food isn't good, but we
Yeah,
love
we
the
had
food.
really
I
good
had
food.
lobster like every day.
What?
For dinner.
Yeah.
That's not what I think of when I think of Cuba. I think of plantain.
We had
Yeah.
plantain
Yeah.
seafood. They
Yeah.
had
That's
some
my favorite
empanadas
thing.
somewhere.
I
actually
just think it's
always-
dope because like they've literally been in because they haven't been able to trade with the U.S. for so long. It's like all their stuff is super old school cars and stuff like that. I definitely wanted to be there before it becomes too like monopolized. But yeah.
Yeah, Cuba's nice.
Yeah.
We said Yoko though, right?
Yeah, you only Cuba once. 'Cause we're not going back.
Why is that?
Why?
It's just you have to prepare yourself mentally when you're going from a developed country to a
Sure.
not developed, underdeveloped. And being there was just like a lack of like infrastructure. You don't have Wi-Fi. If you're not staying at a hotel, we stayed in an Airbnb with it was like 6 of us with other women.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just like So using Google Maps, they were like no street signs. So like we didn't know where we were. Like it would say like go this way.
Oh yeah, them undeveloped countries. They were like turn left at the green building.
The cabs knew. We were like we want to go here. Oh yeah, we know where that is. They'll take us.
Yeah.
But it just like it wasn't like any other trip.
Like we loved it. We loved it, but I was like, I don't know if I could go back. And I don't speak Spanish. Thankfully, we had 2 friends who were like fluent, but that Spanish was a different level.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, no, definitely.
So we were just like, oh my gosh, I feel like it's a business trip.
But now I'm like, I've been to other places. I could.
We can do it again. Now it was our first international trip, and we were like, we were not prepared. We're ready. But the last thing I want to add with the advice with or recommendation is anything you're doing. Incognito window. Like looking at your flights on Google Flights.
Why?
You know how like on Google Flights they like track like if a bunch of people are like looking for tickets on the same day, like prices go up.
Oh, it'll keep jumping every time you search.
Like that. Yeah.
Really?
Doesn't it?
Is that a fact or
so,
just kidding?
No, I think so. No, this is it. Maybe it's my own. I don't know. But I was looking on Norwegian Low-Fare calendar from my phone, not on incognito, and then I looked on my laptop and incognito and the price was lower.
Are you sure? You know you can switch it from the currency if you
No, it wasn't that. It wasn't that, but I always do everything on incognito now.
Hey, I feel
because I thought incognito doesn't necessarily, because I thought the same thing too. Incognito stops them from seeing who you are, but actually with Google, like it just stops. It doesn't track anything. So
it doesn't track,
if you type in passwords, you type in names, you type in searches, you type in all that stuff disappears. So like if you're using somebody random's computer, you just go incognito and then you log out and you don't have to worry about like anything you looked at or anything.
Because we're being tracked all the time anyway.
Right. That's how you see you go on like Google and you type something and you see it on Facebook, see it on Instagram.
Yeah.
We're being tracked. I don't even think incognito work. I think they
fooling
you. They fooling you. They're like,
I know that when
you got us. You got us.
When you don't type, when you just talk out loud, your phone, you start.
Absolutely. Oh, it's for sure. We got Amazon Alexa, and I know Alexa over there listening.
She's listening right now.
Conspiracy.
Yeah, no, I believe it because I mean, so even now we got the whole thing where selling our data, and I think this is something that's interesting. Like even as we think about tech and we think about like travel and all these different things, and like how do we find success? Like we give away our data for free every single day, and we give it away because we think, oh, I want access to all these different things, so I'm going to give away my data. But we don't realize that even at this point now. It used to be like, oh, I'll just give away my data, but we don't realize how valuable data is now. And now they're using data to make tons of money, and really we should be getting paid for all the data they're using. Yep. But we've been giving it away for free so much. Yeah. And now they're about to make millions off of us.
Do you remember when that app, like everyone was using that app where you become like really old if you just take a picture? And people were like, oh, I'm not going to download it because like...
face recognition. And
because apparently the company that owns it is in China. They're like, no, I don't want China to take my data. And people are like... If you log onto like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, they're taking your data too. Like like so
all the time.
It was I just wanted to bring that up. Like
that's crazy.
Data's being collected at all times, not just in China.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I think just like hearing you guys talk about one, just like how you were able to get into tech and that you were able to kind of find your path, even though there were certain things that were like given to you right then, and you took those opportunities. That you kind of bumped around. You checked some things didn't work. You really passionate about doing public health, and then you're like, but right now I can't afford to maybe take this path, and then like kind of going through it, and then eventually finding like, okay, now we're settled in this place, and maybe we're comfortable, we're making good money, we're able to travel, and we're able to kind of like do things. And so I'm really curious. You're traveling. You explored doing, like you guys have been very fashionable for a long time, and now Ty, you like looking at maybe taking a step away from fashion, and then also but you're still, kind of doing this tech thing. Where are you guys now as far as like when it comes to like tech, fashion, maybe not so much fashion because you told me where you are with fashion, but maybe like lifestyle. Like tell me what does this mean to you to be in the tech industry? Where are you going? What does this mean for all of you?
For me, I love the tech industry. Like, I did not grow up in the area. So I didn't know I would ever work at like a LinkedIn, a Google, or Facebook. So it's kind of cool to work at the companies of the apps that we're so consumed with, right? But at some point I did lose focus. I lost the vision. I remember in college I wanted, like, the vision was so clear, and I would write out my long-term goals and my short-term goals. And at some point I just started to go with the flow. My goal, I wanted to save the world, in college. And then I got into the real world and I just started clocking in my 9 to 5. And it wasn't until the end of last year where I realized, like, I'm putting 110%. I'm giving this job my best, but I'm not producing the fruit that I want to see. Like, I'm not hitting my number. Like, this isn't the kind of, like, lifestyle I want to live, where I feel like, I'm going home every day not feeling fulfilled because I'm not doing, like, a good job. So at that point, that's when
you were doing a good job.
Okay, thanks.
Especially in sales, I think sometimes
it's hard to
you let that number that's hanging over your head define things that you shouldn't allow it to. Because you could be working hard and doing well, but that number doesn't align, right? The number says you're not.
So I was at that point where I felt like it was just, I wasn't doing well then. And
so you're judging yourself based upon that number that's over your head, not just who you are as a leader, as a person.
Exactly. Not like qualitative, more like quantitative.
Qualitative,
And it's hard not to judge yourself by, like, numbers when you're in sales. So that's when I took a step back and left LinkedIn in September. And then, like, we traveled for some time, and then I got to this point where I was like, okay, I need to get back on track. I need to figure out what I want to do. So even though we're making videos about people breaking into tech and, like, transitioning, I became that person, the audience for my own. I was watching some of my videos and I was like, oh, this is some good advice. Let me use my LinkedIn to reach out to these people. And I, created this whole, like, schedule of, like, how I want to reach out to people, how I want to approach my next step. And I'm still in the transition phase right now. Of, like,
what does that mean? What do you mean in a transition? So
Okay, so I've identified, like, what I want to do next, and I'm like, okay, how do I get there? Who do I need to reach out to? I need to be consistent about, like, reaching out, because some people don't get back to you, or you don't always, the first door you knock on is going to open. So now I'm like, okay, I need to get some practical experience, even if it's like volunteer or like internships. I need to get into what I want to do with some experience. And, people don't typically hire you if you don't have experience for the job. So that's where I'm at right now.
What are you looking to do?
So much. Honestly, I'm passionate about a lot of things. I'm narrowing it down as we speak. But I do have the vision. I don't know if it's the right time to share it, but I'm working on solidifying it, and then once I have it, I'll be the first to know.
You want to know.
Yeah, this is what we do.
People need to know. People need to know.
Yeah, I mean, this is what we do. We love this stuff. We always talk to people about their passions. What are they doing?
Yeah.
I think a lot of times, I'd never want to take away the fact that money isn't important in the world that we live in. Like, in order for us to survive, especially in the Bay, it's important for us to survive if we're going to try to, like, move and operate in this system. Now, that brings the question is, maybe we need to change the system up, and maybe we all need to come together as people and say, how do we want to operate and separate ourselves from the system? But right now, we living in the system that was created for us not to win. And in order for us to actually, like, even just survive, we gotta be capitalists, which sucks.
Yeah, I heard this guy say, I was watching a video or something, and he was just like, why do we want to work for these tech companies? Why do we want to be in the space? Is it the money? Is it the prestige? Is it so that people can say, you've made it? You want to feel like you've arrived?
It's the new level of success now.
Yeah, it's like, if you get to Google, you have made it.
Yeah.
It's a wrap.
Right.
Meanwhile, you could be at Google being, on an assembly line. You put the part the next, you're just, filling out the number.
But you putting it on your resume, though.
Or you could intern for a company like, let's say, like Facebook, doing what you really like. And a friend shared this with me. He was doing what he liked as an internship, and at the end of the internship, he thought he was going to get an offer in that department, and they gave him something completely different, and the pay was not good. And he's like, do I take this offer because it's Facebook, or do I do my own thing? And he chose to do his own thing, and now he's like, he chose to just freelance for a year or so with like different companies, and now he's back at a really great tech company doing what he loves to do, making a good amount of money. So I think we always have to take a step back, like, what's this gonna cost me? Like, is it, what's the vision?
Yeah,
because without a vision, people perish. Literally, you can be just following the crowd or being on that hamster wheel, like Kenny said, and you never look back and say, like, how did I get here? Is this the type of impact I want to make?
Right.
So it sounds like that was a place that you came to where maybe having the tech job and being in this kind of money that I'm able to have, like, that wasn't something that fulfilled me. Like,
money fulfilled me. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I mean, money does matter sometimes, but yeah, it's kind of like I was definitely in that place. So I was just like, I definitely want to stay in tech. I think really good work can be done in tech. But as I mentioned earlier, like I definitely want to move to the other side. Yeah. Not just the people, but like building my lived experience into the product development stages, not just like selling the tool.
Right. Okay.
I would say for me, I'm in a different stage. But I do want to talk about distractions because I've been distracted. And there are things called good distractions that people don't think about or maybe they're not aware of. So a good distraction for me has been, I've been promoted almost every year for the past 4 years. So I recently got promoted 3 months ago into a new job. Woo! But a promotion. But I thank you and thank God. And I've been moving up in sales. But what I realized is that I've lost, not my purpose because that's something I keep remembering, but I've lost like that vision as well. Because again, if I'm getting promoted, I feel good, right? But that's a new job you got to learn. That's more time you got to invest into work. And that's what I've been doing, literally giving it my all. So recently I decided like I need to figure out, you know, what I want to do. Because just because I'm good at it doesn't mean that's something I want to keep doing, right? Because how does it make me feel when I come to work? How does it make me feel when I go home?
Right.
Those are all things that I'm starting to like notice about myself, and I want to make sure I'm not like being distracted by the good things. Promotions are great, don't get me wrong, right? You get more money, you get more responsibility, and you're doing something that could be a lot of fun. And all the perks that it comes with. But right now I want to like, we're going to go home after this and like take a step back and like plan out, like literally plan out the year. Not just the trips we want to take, but like what is our vision, right? There's like 8 goals. One of my directors, we had a one-on-one this weekend, or last week, because today is Monday. One of my directors told me like, hey, like these are the goals I made for my life. I want you to do the same, and if you feel comfortable, share with me so I can hold you accountable. And I was like, I mean, I've made goals in the past, but it was all about work. Like, these are all like, I'll write 3 goals on my board. Hit quota, no, exceed quota by 10%, 110% of quota. Maybe go to club. And like club was like this big thing where like last year for a week and a half, they took people to Bali if you're like the top like 1%. Wow. And you could bring someone for free and like this, everything is paid for, the flight, the person that comes. So I was like, oh, maybe Bali. That's the hamster wheel you're doing.
Right.
But it sounds good,
it sounds real nice. But it's not tied into being just a person or being like awesome. It's tied into your numbers.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So I want to make sure that I'm not just following this path of like what the word is defined as success, moving up in sales, maybe one day becoming a sales manager, etc., and not focusing on what I'm passionate about and what I want to accomplish. Wow. So that's what the next week or so is going to be me really doing. And I'll decide what I want to do because by July, I want to be in a different headspace and a different mind space. And kind of even going back to like SOL ends in like June, July. And then at that time, I want to be able to make a decision for my career and where I want to go.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
What are you thinking?
A couple of things come to mind. I'm not sold on being in tech forever, so I would be interested in like leaving tech and doing something different. But I don't know what different is, right? And every industry has its evils.
Sure. Absolutely, definitely.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm still decided. I don't know. Maybe it could be entertainment, or it could be fashion. I'm open to whatever it might be. And maybe it is staying in tech. Maybe it's at the same company. Maybe it's a smaller company. But there's so many options out there, and I know that I can do whatever I put my mind to. So I just need to decide what that is.
And you can do all of it because I think a lot of times we limit ourselves to be like, oh, what's that one thing I want to do? What research has shown is that purpose isn't something that you just achieve and you got it, but purpose is like something that it's an arrow that you shoot at a target, and as that arrow gets closer to the target moves back. Yeah, bless you.
Sorry.
Bless you. It's all good.
Yeah.
But it's like that target moves back further and further, so you never really hit purpose. You're just always going towards. It's like a never-ending hallway that you just, as you get closer to the end of it, it just keeps stretching back.
I think we put a lot of pressure on ourselves when we just have like that. You know, going up there, like, what do you want to be? And you get that ingrained. Like, I'm going to be a doctor, and then you become a doctor and you hate your job. Yeah. You know?
Right.
I think it's the same. You're older now. You get to choose what you do. And we're like, okay, I want to be an engineer. And then it's okay to change your mind. I was an engineer for 2 years. Right. Let me change my mind. I want to actually sell the product I've been building. Yeah, it's okay to change your mind. Don't put so much pressure on yourself.
And it's okay to have been selling it for a while and decide, like, actually, I want to be a part of, like, creating this.
Right. Like, it's at the end of the day, it's just a job. I know. We live in a generation where people are just like, your job is your everything. You are what you do. crazy. But like
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's just a job.
And we have the wisdom to
Relax.
choose, and we are privileged because we have these options.
Right.
Not everybody has these same
Right.
like opportunities just kind of like floating around.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
using our
definitely.
privilege.
Yeah, man, it's like some of the stuff that you're talking about, it's interesting because I think it's talking from the other side of the fence. Like a lot of times we can look over into the tech industry and we can see like that there are people in the tech industry and like they seem like they're doing really well, seem like they don't got no cars and they just ride Ubers all day.
Right. That is my lifestyle.
Uber everywhere.
Right.
And Lyft too. Now I have to get both of them because you know the price. I'm like, which one's
Yeah,
cheaper?
which one gonna be cheaper? No, for sure. Yeah, and then you got like you can see that they get fed during lunch and they see
Right.
all these different things and there's a
Yeah.
lot of perks and you can see that those perks are set up to keep you tied in doing something that maybe you're not passionate about, but you'll do it so that you're basing your worth off of performance and not necessarily off of just you being who you are and like the quality that you bring. And I think a lot of times we can like, especially when we look at leadership and we look at like how leadership happens, it's like this. And I think something that the tech industry has done really well is creating this environment that makes you want to stay.
Yeah.
But a lot of times you can see something where it's this hamster wheel where I'm growing until I get put in this position of leadership. And I've been trained to do this job really well, but I haven't been trained to be a leader. And so now I'm stepping into this leadership position and I'm like, I don't know how to be a leader. I just know how to do this job really well. So now you have people who are responsible over the tech industry and they're making terrible decisions for people, or like Google's whole thing was like, oh, we don't want to do evil, so we want to stop selling data to the government. Like that should have never been a decision. Like that should have never been a conversation. But Amazon is like, yeah, we want to give them all the information, which is like, how do you get these people in these positions to make these type of decisions for us? It's because they were great at their job, but they were never really trained to be leaders. And so like, it's interesting to just kind of see the other side where you see this hamster wheel, which seems really great because it makes people want to get into it. But then you have to ask yourself, now that I'm here, what's my goal? Am I losing focus, or am I being distracted by kind of like this environment that's been set to keep me in, which can be great. Like you said, there's great distractions where I'm promoting, I'm financially stable, I'm able to take care of myself. But then not have I lost sight of purpose, but when am I getting back to purpose? When am I prioritizing purpose again? Have you found yourself like asking yourself that question at all, or? Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I've been asking myself for the past few months. Like, it's funny, on one of my reviews, not a review, but I got into a leadership program at work. Keep me there. Just kidding. And I had to have people write reviews about me. And one of my senior managers said, like, Kenny's so focused on purpose that like sometimes she misses just like being in the role and learning everything she can, because literally every time I talk to him, I'm like, oh my gosh, what's my purpose? Like, this is not my purpose. So what's my purpose? Purpose first.
That's what's up.
He's a believer. He's the one with the big house in San Ramon.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I talk to him a lot, but I was just like, dang, am I losing sight of like the actual job and just too focused on purpose? I was like, nah, I'm just not focused enough.
There's two ways you can look at it, because we were talking to a guy who is working at a new company, Morgan. He's working at a new company and he left LinkedIn, and we was just like, he looks at this whole job thing completely different. Some of us are like, I need to be passionate about what I'm doing every day. I need to, take ownership in the company. Like, I love this company,
Yeah.
And there's other people that's like, I'm just a number. I'm okay with that. I clock in, I clock out. I'm done.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So they're all like two.
But
Some
he
people
finds his joy in his side job, which is more
Exactly.
like they have like a TV show or something. So he finds it in like content and like that.
Yeah, so there are other people who like don't need to be passionate about what they do every day.
They're
They
funding
can
their dream.
exactly,
Right,
and they're just
exactly.
using it as like, it's my 9 to 5. I clock in, I clock out. That's it. You're not gonna see me responding to no email at 5:30 p.m.
Sure,
Right.
Meanwhile, some people, I'm so passionate. I want that project done by Monday 6 p.m. I'm still working.
See, that's me. Like, I try to be that person that's like, oh, this is my 9 to 5. No. It just doesn't sit well with me. Like, even if
So
I
you
say,
go over and beyond 9 to 5.
oh, yes, I'm above and beyond. I put on my laptop. I got an email up, pull out the laptop. Let me get this done. Like, I do act how, even when we were in Turkey, I was like, I need to pull out my laptop real quick, turn on my hotspot. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm someone that I can't just do the job, just do and say I clocked in. I have to do extremely well. I have to feel good about it. And I'm still asking myself, how does this align to my purpose, right? Every day. So,
Wow. It's really interesting because I think, it's like some people are like, I don't care about this job. This job is funding my dream.
Right.
And so I can eventually do what I want to do. Hopefully that comes soon, and not is like, but I got so stuck on doing the job that my purpose doesn't come until I'm like retired. But also there's other people who are like, I gotta know why I'm here. I gotta know why I'm here in order for me to do well. And I'm gonna do well. Like I'm gonna be digging in, but like I gotta know why I'm here.
That's
that's really interesting.
Yeah, and it's interesting how with all the things that we've been talking about we didn't really get into your twinship. I'm sure a lot of people are interested in what those dynamics are, but in talking about tech, talking about travel, I've heard purpose come up a lot in our conversation, and thinking about how do people start transitioning? And we talked about transition, all the T's.
I know.
T.
He said Chronicles of TK.
Right.
Okay.
It seems like for you, Taiwo, that you had took an intentional step back to zone into purpose and to zoom into like what is going on, what am I doing right now, like how am I actually aligning myself to where I want to be. And then you, Kenny, you're in this place of like, okay, I do want to get to this place like around the summertime where I'm like, okay, how does everything align together, like how am I moving into purpose? What would you tell our listeners about, because it is brave to take a step back from tech and to say like, okay, I'm just going to take this step, travel, think about what my next move is. What does it look like to be intentional in considering purpose?
That's a heavy load.
Yeah, it is.
So what does it look like to be intentional about your purpose? Yeah, I think it's different for everyone. I think it just goes back to what you value. So, and like what makes sense for you, right? So, like, God made it clear it was time to go. So, I wasn't about to sit there try to, like, find new jobs while I was there. And for some people, it's like, no, I can do both. You know, I can do this. And, like, in the time that, like, so I wasn't working. Like, I left LinkedIn without a job or anything like that. I think God, like, I was praying for, like, clarity and, like, a peace of mind. Because I was like, this is the reason I moved to the Bay Area, like, to work at LinkedIn. Like, you know, am I going to be at peace not being there? Because, like, I thought this was it. But clearly God had other plans for me. I don't know yet, but, you know, it's a blessing in disguise. I'm going to see it probably when this episode airs.
Yeah.
It's still in disguise, right? It's still in disguise. What I wanted to say was that I was praying for, like, clarity and peace. And one thing, like, the last 3 months of the year not working in 2019, one thing that I learned is just, like, I always thought, like, peace is, you know, when everything is going okay and, like, I'm hitting my quota and I'm doing well at work. But what God revealed to me is that, like, peace isn't, you know, peace isn't when everything is going well. It's not, you know, the lack of problems. It's the presence of God. And in the last 3 months of the 2019, that's what I was doing. Being in a school of leadership and, like, even, like, just having more time to set aside, like, my quiet time, because I never did that before. I just had...
for our audience, can you tell them what School of Leadership is?
Oh, it's a 9-month program at our church where we're being discipled into, like, disciples.
Like, not time of consecration.
Yes, we're consecrated with 6 other people, and, you know, we're taking classes Monday through Wednesdays. We're serving at church. And the goal is to just learn the word, learn what it looks like to be a true follower of Christ. And, yeah, we get to go on a mission trip. Shameless plug. But, yeah, that's School of Leadership. But, like, my last day at LinkedIn was my first day of School of Leadership, which is kind of crazy. And it was not planned at all.
God's plan.
But I had so much time to, like, read the word more, read even books. Like, I always have a goal of 10 books a year. I was able to actually read books. And honestly, I don't think it wasn't my intention. I was literally put in this position, you know? Okay. So, like, I think it just happened. So, yeah. That's the best way for me to explain
So sometimes you are forced into a place where you don't have control over thinking about purpose. Thinking about...
I was just sitting there like, so what am I going to do today? I need to start structuring my days, you know?
Yeah. Wow. And I think I agree with Ty. It is different for everyone. For me, I'm in a place where... Because, like, you can decide to quit your job any day. You know, we can all walk away. But do you have the funds to live life? Like, can you pay your rent? Can you pay your bills? Do you have enough saved?
Right.
So, we're not both about to leave our jobs and be out here begging for rent, okay?
Yeah.
Because y'all know it's hard. But what I would say is that we have to be a little more... I keep saying prepared, but like, we have to think about things thoroughly. And I think for me, I could leave my job today if I wanted, but I think I'm more in a place where I'm learning something new, because it is a new job, right? It's a new team. It's the same company, but I'm learning something new every day. I mean, I get to like go to Germany and Ireland in next month for work. So like I'm also getting to travel. It's like I'm getting good things out of the job. So I'm learning to be still in this moment right now until it's time. And it's weird because people are gonna be like, when is it time? You know what? I'm asking God the same thing. When is it time? But that's something I don't know how to do. I don't know how to be still, because we're doers. We want to be moving and shaking every day. We want to be everywhere. Even my mind, I'm like, should I go look for jobs? No, like I need to be still. So right now, and that's the prophetic word I received. So I'm like, I need to be still right now. And when it's time, I don't know, God, please help me. Not be so impatient. Because even moving out the Bay, right? I wanted to move out the Bay last year. Like, I've been trying every year. That's why I only get a 1-year lease. I'm like, I'm moving. But I'm still here because, I'm on assignment. So right now, I'm being still. And still learning. Still trying to, like, identify, okay, what does my purpose align with? And I think when it's time to get a new job or whatever it might be, maybe it's a new side project, right? Maybe stay in the same job or pick up a side project where I'm learning about an entire new industry, whatever that might be. It'll be time. But some people leave immediately because they need all the time to focus on it. Some people, and they have the option to choose. Some people don't have the option. They just have to leave and then figure it out. And then others decide, like me, to just stay and figure out in that time. And
I love that you mentioned that, because what I tend to suggest to people that if they're looking at moving on or trying to like get to the next thing, just because I never want my advice to put somebody in a comfortable position that they're not supposed to be in, and like this isn't a decision you made, you did it because I said it.
That's different for everybody.
That ain't right. That's why I'm like, I'm gonna tell you right now, like my advice is always to stuff your time with so much, and to the point where you have to let go of the things that you don't want to do anymore. So like if you realize that like, hey, the job I'm at, I don't want to be at this job anymore, and you want to start your own thing, then start that own thing while still working at your job. Right. Make it to the point to where you're working 18 hours a day, you know what I mean? Like just putting in work, trying to get things done. And then eventually it gets so profitable, or it takes up so much time that you're like, okay, I got to start cutting back hours at work. Maybe I'll move to part-time. Okay, maybe
I like that.
Yeah, maybe then, okay, part-time, maybe I come in, do some consulting. All right, I can't do any consulting anymore. I'm just so busy with my own thing. Right. Just because I think a lot of times we move with like emotion. Not to say that this is like the experience you had, but like I know a lot of times we can move with emotion. I'm sick of this job. I hate this job. I'm out. Like, and then we quit and we don't got nothing else to prepare us, or we think that like, yo, this thing, like I got this new thing, I'm starting this new thing, but we really haven't even like tested it out, really seen if it worked, really seen if it's something that's like reliable, is it feasible, and then be like, okay, no, let's make the transition. So that's my suggestions always, like, but I definitely like there's sometimes where there's no room to do both. Like I gotta move, but like I tend to push people to trying first, see if you can do both, and then make that transition.
Another thing I want to add is also like I think a lot of people these days are moving because everyone wants to do their own thing or like be an entrepreneur because they're seeing what other people are doing and being successful at it. And one thing I'm just gonna say is like everyone wasn't called to be an entrepreneur. We need people to mop floors. We need people to be the manager of that sales team. We need like every role is needed and is required. So just like keep your eyes on your own prize.
Definitely. That's really good. That's really good. Yeah.
What is one tip, challenge, reflection, any and all that you want to leave our listeners? Anything that maybe we haven't talked about, or anything you want them to know or to be encouraged or empowered by?
That's good. You start, sis.
It's funny because I want to be so deep. Oh my gosh, I want it to be so good, but when you asked that question, lyrics came to mind. They secular, but I'm gonna tell you, know yourself and know your worth. And this is why we don't truly take the time to learn who we are.
That's true.
And we think, oh, Sally got this, I need to go get that job, or Sally traveled here, I need to do that. Like, know who you are. Like, how do you feel? What does this mean for you? Like Ty, when we were traveling, asked me, if we didn't travel, if we didn't have social media, would you still like, or something like, would you still want to post it? Like if there was a social media, would you still want to travel to this place? Because is it really about you, or is it about what others are gonna see?
Right. Yeah.
So I think like a lot of the past couple months has been me like really trying to get to know myself, and then now it's knowing my worth, because we be out here accepting job offers that we know.
Come on.
That we know. Not saying I'm the best of the world, but like
right. Yeah.
they offered me that because I let them. Even with like negotiating offers, like I accepted that. I didn't even try. So like I'm knowing myself and know my worth, and that comes with like that's one definitely your career. Like when you're accepting a job, what you're even accepting at work. Like Ty's the type that if they email her after 5, she's not responding to email to the next day when you see her at work.
She know her worth.
She don't. I know my worth. She's not playing that. And and you teach people how to like. Respond to you. You teach people how to treat you.
He's like, why? Why don't you respond?
And I'm like, I'm gonna just do it right now. Just so I get at the back. Oh my gosh, no. So knowing myself, know my worth, even when it comes to job offers, money, housing issue, even with apartments, like I'm gonna negotiate everything. Okay, I'm in sales.
Girl, you better work it. You better work it.
You negotiated an apartment rent and everything.
Yo, you got even when you travel, always ask for a free upgrade. I'm telling you, like it works. My friend told me her dad does it. She does it. Now I do it. When we went to Singapore, I asked if we can get a free upgrade.
To like
another room? Free breakfast, and they say yes.
You got it.
Hotel, wow.
Does it really hurt them? No. Like no one asked.
They want you to have a good
People are afraid to hear and know.
Exactly. When I said like I'm gonna be vlogging my experience, like So but yeah, just like knowing who you are, what you deserve, and also like your worth. Like and make sure everybody else knows that.
That's really good.
And then mine, one challenge. I want to challenge every listener today on Militant Podcast to write the vision and make it plain. Write it down because
Rebecca.
Yes.
4-4.
No.
2-3.
2-3.
Yeah. No.
It's okay, Pastor. It's alright. It's funny because he be on there all the time. So this is the first time I think you've ever gotten it.
I don't be knowing addresses, but I know what it said though.
Yeah. You know when you need it. The reason I say that is because we get a lot of ideas, we hear a lot of things, we see a lot of people doing things, and we don't write down what we want to do.
Right.
And then we are quickly distracted by what we see other people doing.
Right.
Or, we lose track. We had an idea, but we lose track of it because you never wrote it down.
Yeah.
We never talked about goals to achieving, making that vision become a reality.
Right.
So, do those vision boards, write it down, write it
really
somewhere because it's going to come to pass. You're going to write it down. It's going to come to pass. You're going to get it done.
Yeah.
And also, not to end it all, but I do have one more thing I do want to add because this really resonates with me is everything has its process. I think sometimes if you quit your job or you get a new job, you think everything's gonna be great right after. No, everything's not gonna be instant and immediate.
Right.
Sometimes it might take days.
Process.
Sometimes it might take months.
Yeah.
Sometimes it might take a whole year.
Yeah.
But know the process. Just be content because
be content.
Victory is coming, and I gotta remind myself that too. Everything has its process.
I love it.
I feel like we gotta have a part 2 of this only because I feel like we'll both be in different places come the summertime.
Yeah, definitely.
So
we
can have a part 2 to see they moved. Let's see where they're at.
Wow, she's trying to do a quick plug.
Invite us back.
Listen to this podcast. Go back to comment, okay? We want the twins back. Chronicles of TK, the Chronicles continue.
Yeah. Well, man, I think we definitely appreciate everything that y'all shared today. Just so that the audience knows where they can find you.
Yes.
Y'all on Instagram right now. Y'all on it, but y'all not posting right now.
Right.
You're on a break. Okay, cool. So where can they find you? Where are all the platforms and all the spaces they can find you?
I'm actually only on Instagram at Taiwo, that's Taiwo.ade. And then we have a joint page, it's Chronicles of TK, all one word.
Yeah, and I'm also only on Instagram, Kehinde, KEHINDE.ADE. And like Ty said, Chronicles of TK on YouTube and Chronicles of TK on Instagram.
Yep. Love
Chronicles
it.
of TK. Y'all can check them out on the Instagram or even on YouTube.
Yep.
About their travels and about how you can even break into tech if you're interested in this. If you're interested in this, especially again, our whole goal is to be able to help people of color redefine success. And so just y'all being here and talking about the narrative of being in the tech industry and what it's like and the experience, but not getting trapped in that, but also knowing what you're knowing your worth and knowing what you're trying to do, writing the vision down, making it plain. I think it's super important for us as people of color that we have to do that. We have to be intentional about the extraordinary life we're trying to create for ourselves. If we're not, then we're going to just live somebody else's life. We're going to walk in somebody else's path. We're going to be a hamster. They're going to put us in the wheel. We're going to run until we die. But it's Yeah. So at some point we got to recognize, we got to step out, take a step back. That's what I hear y'all saying.
Yeah.
We got to take a step back, look at purpose, know
Yeah.
where we're going, and be able to move towards that.
Amen. Come on.
Right.
Have a good 4-4.
Yeah, right there, back and forth.
No.
What does that even say?
I know. Like, what's up?
That could be a word for us today, okay?
What's it say, girl?
All right, hold on. You know,
It ends
Bible
in
app
4,
is-
don't it?
Okay, here it is. Oh my gosh, there's no 4. It's only 3 chapters.
We're going to add that in.
Yo, let's see what 3-4 said.
3-4.
It says his brightness was like the light. He had rays flashing from his hand.
Wow.
And there his power was hidden. Come on.
Glory.
Okay.
This is glory.
We can take
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
We don't have brightness in our hands.
Amen.
Yeah.
Well, we have a saying that we love to end our podcast with every episode, that we like to remind our listeners that they have the power to be able to create their extraordinary life. And you guys go.
Yeah,
Okay.
you know what I'm saying? And then-
Okay.
but y'all got to put that magic on it.
Okay.
That Chocolate City magic.
We got it. And remember, you have the power to create your extraordinary life.
Oh, that was good.
I was trying to use my radio voice, so I don't know if that